जय श्री माता जी। हम सभी श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों में प्रणाम करेंगे और सामूहिक बंधन लेंगे। लेट अस ऑल humbly bow down at lotus feet of Shri Mata Ji and take collective bandhan. तीन महामंत्र और गणेश मंत्र, 3 महामंत्रा एंड गणेश मंत्र।
Make साक्षात् श्री गणेश साक्षात् श्री शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
ध्यान की इसी स्थिति में अब हम श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी सुनेंगे। इन दिस मेडिटेटिव स्टेट वी विल नाउ लिसन श्री माता जी's अमृतवाणी।
Today is a great day for all of us to rejoice and to enjoy this resurrection of Christ. Throat. The resurrection of Christ took place to open our Agya center. Because it was a very subtle center, as you know, very complicated, with the ideas people had from their conditioning and from their ego, where so much clogging the Agya Chakra that Kundalini could have been impossible to pass through. So all the play of resurrection took place. And as Christ was nothing but Chaitanya, he was resurrected from death, so-called. In this death of Christ, we have to also understand that we have achieved our resurrection. We have achieved our resurrection. Also, whatever was supposed to be the past has died, is finished now. So, this repentance that we have, the conditionings we have are dead. But still it is very surprising that among the Christian nations, the ego did not subside as it should have been. Perhaps may be that Christ was never worshipped in the right way. The ego in the West was absolutely so dominating that nobody could see what they are doing and how far they are going. Unnecessarily they are repenting about something that is far-fetched. But repentance was meant for our ego. It's very shocking sometimes when you see how the Christian nations invaded other countries, completely annihilated, completely finished and destroyed, races after races. They were Christians, followers of Christ, taking Bible in their hand. Can you imagine such a horrible things these so-called Christians have done in the name of Christ? Why is it we have to understand this ego worked so much in the Western countries or in the countries where they followed Christianity? Anywhere, if they are Christians, they are extremely aggressive, extremely violent, and they think that the whole world belongs to them. Even Hitler believed in the Catholic religion. Sort of this great sacrifice of Christ never taught them any lesson, as if it was all obliterated from their memory, as if it has no meaning to them, it conveyed nothing to them, and they became so violent. Not only that, but they thought they have a right to rule the whole world, plunder everyone, destroy everyone. Why? Because they were Christians. What a contrast it is to the life of Christ, who resurrected out of the so-called death. But the ego still remained, not only, but it grew up to such an extent that today we see the Christians have lost their sense of maryadas completely. The way the Christian churches are behaving is shocking. There is no morality of any kind left in them. They have no respect for law, no respect for God, no respect also for the chastity, which was the main point of Christ, main guna of Christ. This shocked me when I was a child. As I was born in a Christian family, and I found the Christians in India the most dogmatic, most dominating people. It surprised me. How have they taken Christ for granted, and why are they using His name to dominate others? Unfortunately, at that time, we had the British ruling us. British also maneuvered the whole thing in such a manner that the Indians believed that Christ was born in England. They used to dress up like English. They called themselves Sahabs. They used to behave in a very arrogant manner. And they had places in the government. They joined hands with government, had no loyalties to Indians. Even when my father was arrested, they threw us out of the Christian government. They threw me out of the school when I was just a 6-7-year-old girl, because my father was a congressman. So this side of Christianity, so far nobody has seen, I personally think, that all the Christian nations have been extremely cruel, extremely dominating, and they are today at the helm of affairs. This subtle ego has now, which was once the property of some monarchs, but has now in democratic countries have become very much available to all the ordinary people. And all these countries we find are full of destruction. It's not only that the European did like this, but even Americans are extremely dominating, extremely egoistical, to such an extent that they are idiotic. Imagine they follow Christ, who was wisdom, the source of wisdom, and his disciples should be so stupid and idiotic cannot be explained. Why it happens like that? So we have to see to the history of religion, that is Christianity. There was, as you know, Peter. Peter was a very egoistical fellow, and once Christ said that you are a Satan, said clearly, and also said that you will deny me 3 times. That's the time this Paul came up, and he thought it's a very good chance to get hold of somebody who is a weak person, who is satanic, who is in a way antichrist. And he found Peter. He, being a great bureaucrat, wooed him, managed him, and took him into his own confidence and told him that you join hands with me, so I will make you the main person. And then he told all the other disciples that you are not so educated. I am a great educated man, and I know what to write, what not to write. So we shouldn't write all the things that you have written, we should edit it. He edited the Bible, this sinister fellow, Paul. He edited the Bible. The whole work of Christ went into the hands of this devil. He started editing it. And when he edited, if you read him, you'll be surprised. It's full of ego. He's organizing, he's full of ego, whatever he writes, absolutely. But he cut down many things which should have been there. Christ must have mentioned about Kundalini, I'm sure. But not a word about all these things. He avoided it. Though that you are to be born again, and all these things Christ said, Matthew insisted. But he fought with Matthew, and he couldn't accept the Immaculate Conception, because he had no idea about the truth, about the reality, about the miracles that exist with divinity. So he denied, but still Matthew stuck on to his own gospel. But John ran away. He started his own style, which he called people as Gnostics. And the other disciples, out of them Thomas went away. So he edited Luke's gospel and Matthew's gospel, and with great struggle they could retain certain original things in that. So this devil entered into the arena of such a great religion as Christianity. And the whole thing became upside down. And that's how Bible, which they use now as authority, has such words that people start thinking low end of themselves. The first one suggesting that if you become the members of a church, you are chosen. But first of all he saw that it should be written that Peter will start this church and he will have the key. That's what Christ has said. And put him on a rock and he will start the church. Impossible. They put me in the place of Christ. will I ask the wickedest man to do such a thing? Will I appoint one person to look after the whole thing? This part of the Bible is absolutely blasphemy. And that's how, once he put it there, Peter got into his own ego, thinking no end of himself. It was just maneuvering and managing everything. This was all done with his bureaucratic brains. But Peter played into it because he was a very weak disciple of Christ. As you know, in Sahaja also we have really 12 types of Sahajogis. And some of them are very weak. They are weak because they have too much ego. They cannot carry on with anyone. They shout at people. They disturb others. They think no end of themselves. They are always aggressive. They cannot be collective. They never show any love for each other. So this type of Sahajogis are there, which are one by one are showing their colors. But some of them are learning and are understanding that this is something is wrong, should not be. Christ had hardly 3.5 years to work out all this, but I didn't know that out of these 12, one would be such a sinister fellow that, of course, one got him caught also. But this Peter would be such a horrible fellow that for his own glory, for his own self-interest, he would put such words in the Bible and have a great authority. It has happened also with Muhammad Sahib. Firstly, that Muhammad Sahib has said that there will be a resurrection time. That means he talked of the future. So how can it be that he was the last? If he was the last, then how are you going to have the resurrection? But the seal of prophet doesn't mean that it's sealed now, no prophet can come down. It means seal means a kind of a brand, you can call it. And he was Adi Guru, so he called himself, I am the seal. He didn't say that I have sealed. But crooked people take advantage of these little words and start using them for their own purposes because they are very self-centered. So another type of Sahajogis are extremely self-centered. Some of them are quite self-centered in the sense that they know their own wives, their children and their house and this and that. To them it is very important to be busy with their children. You'll be amazed, some people came to Bombay with their children, didn't come for the puja in Delhi. What sort of Sahajogi is that? So this kind of Sahajogis exist, that they are more worried about their children than about Sahajoga, more about their own emancipation, worried about their family, their household. Some women are quite good at it. They try to remove their husbands from the ashrams. They try to find out excuses how to get out of the collectivity. You are judged all the time and you judge yourself clearly. Now do not think of others when I am saying this, but put it to yourself. You must know that Christ was crucified. And who crucified them? They were not crucified by Jews. is a wrong idea. How can all the Jews who were just like slaves could crucify Christ? It was the Roman Empire at that time wanted to crucify because they thought he's becoming very powerful. Please sit down. And when they tried to crucify, they didn't even think that Christ is crucified because Jews wanted it. The blame was put on them just to avoid the blame from the people who were rulers. And the rulers can always do such a thing, is to make crucifixion of anyone and putting the blame on anyone. So the Christians, the early Christians were mostly Jews. Christ himself was a Jew. So to say that Jews crucified Christ, how can it be? So the blame was put on the Jews. And then Christians thought that they have every right to hate the Jews because Christ was crucified by Jews. This is another idea which has worked out through Mr. Paul, because he didn't want to take any blame on the Roman administration. So Pilate washes his hands and he washes his hands. They're very significant. He washes his hands. So he's doing it not with his authority, but he's doing it with the authorities of the Jew. This drama was played. And then all the Christians were busy hating the Jews and thinking that they have crucified Christ. I mean, those are thousands of years when it had happened. And in thousands of years, somebody crucified somebody, for that they are hated. I mean, in that way, all the white race must be hated for generations together, if that is the criteria, because they have not only crucified one man, millions and millions they have crucified. Are we going to blame their children and their children? So this is third type of Sahajogis we have, who try to blame somebody else all the time, not themselves. Such people, when they start blaming others, can never improve. They should introspect. But introspection is missing very much in the Western countries, except in Russia. Because there is no way out. It's nowhere written that you introspect yourself. Only thing, if you go to church and confess to some deaf and dumb priest, you are saved. So nobody introspects. Let us face it ourselves. Do we introspect or not? Or we are that kind of people, Sahajogis, who are not so much self-centered, but are self-opinionated and self-glorified. Who do not want to find out what's wrong with them. Now we have another kind, fourth kind, which is very interesting to see. That they are worshipping Mataji in the house, but they can't come to collect. No, they can't, because it's little far away. But if they have to go to meet their son, they will go miles together. If they have to do something for their family, they'll do it. Not only that, but supposing they have to do some business, they will travel. In Sahaja Yoga, nobody is asked to give up their jobs, to give up their lives, lifestyles, nothing of the kind. But priority is to be seen. They are very busy with their work, with earnings, with whatever they are doing. And they are just after earning a name, working very hard, doing artistic work, maybe creative work. They are very busy. They have no time for themselves, no time for God. This kind of people also. Oh, we worship Mother. Before our creative work, we bow to Mother. Take help from her. And we want all the protection from her for our work, for our creativity. And there are some Sajogis who still think that money is very important. Still think. It is not. In Sahaja Yoga, we get money whenever we want. Some of them, I am starting a business because 0.001% I want to give to Sahaja Yoga. And if you say, why are you giving? It's all yours, Mother, 0.001%. It's all yours. After all, what are we doing? It's all yours. This kind of attitude comes when you think that money is very important. Money is very important for such people who cannot see God beyond this, who cannot see subtler advantage of this money. They calculate every pie meticulously. They don't want that their hard-earned money should be wasted about their spirituality. Or we have people who won't buy a book of Sahaja Yoga, wouldn't buy a tape, they'll copy it. Saving, save pounds or save dollars. They wouldn't buy something that is needed. They wouldn't buy a photograph, but they would like to ask somebody to make a photograph out of it and we can have that. It's not that it is necessary to spend, but the attitude of mind. If you can save some money, very good. If you can save some time, very good. But that this time that is saved is for Sahaja Yoga, they seldom understand. If you read I was reading the Buddhist religion, and I was amazed. There are so many don'ts that if I put even one to Sahaja Yogis, you'll all run away. First is you cannot make any profit. No profit. You cannot buy any land. You can only eat your food once a day. You have to be vegetarian, absolutely. You cannot kill anyone. You may kill human beings, that's not written. But you cannot kill any animal, you cannot kill any fish, you cannot kill even a mosquito. So this kind of religion is there, which is, they say Buddha talked about. I don't think so, Buddha could have said. So all these people, the followers of all these great incarnations, have done so much wrong to the people who brought beautiful religions to us. And that's why we are absolutely deviated from the path of truth. So those who really are honest and want to adhere to the path of truth have to all the time introspect and find out within yourself how far we are on the truth. So now we have another kind of Sajogis also, who are more sort of, I should say, like enjoy festivals, you see, clubbing together. Because we have a feeling of belonging. We should belong to something. We should belong to this group or to that group or to that group. Either you go to Christianity or to the Jews or to the Islam and other to some politics. Say for in England, they'll ask you a question, what is your politics? I said, what is my politics? I couldn't understand this question. Everybody must have a brand of politics. I said, what do you mean by that? I said, are you a communist? No, no, I'm not. Are you a conservative? No, no. Are you a socialist? I'm not. Then what are you? I am a human being. They couldn't understand, I'm just a human being without any politics on my head. So, the idea of belonging, I must belong to this cult or to this sect or to these so-called religions. Then you start getting involved into all kinds of conditionings, all kinds of rules and regulations and things, and you start binding yourself and very happy, very happy. Now you ask some sects, why are you clean shaven? Oh, in our religion we are supposed to have a clean shave head. What is this? Or something like that, stupid, like you must have beard or you must have moustaches. Some sort of a clannishness, not understanding that reality is full of varieties. There has to be variety. That is how it is aesthetics and saundarya. If you do not have variety, how can you be a personality? How can be a person who is bound by these nonsensical outside ideas be a person who has a personality? If religion cannot give you a personality, it's better to do away with such a thing. It gives you an inner personality and also an outer personality. And this personality, when you start enjoying, then only one would say you are a Sahajogi, where you are not told not to steal, not to hit someone, not to be aggressive with anyone, not to be egoistical. Never said like that. But a personality that watches oneself. But normally people watch others, not themselves. This is also another problem of the West, that you watch others, never watch yourself. But all this goes on and on and on till we really become slaves of our own ideas about a personality, and we start projecting that personality through our ego and try to show that we are something very special. Just the opposite is Sahaja try to understand this very clearly. You are all a personality. You are all persons. You are all saints and are to be respected as saints. You need not have the same type of personality. Everybody must have to, it has to be different types of styles of talking, styles of delivering things, styles of expression of divine love. So we do not form a kind of a regimental people because we are free. We are absolutely free because we have the light. We know how far we have to go, what is the right way, which way to go. immediately you know what is correct. If that light is there, nicely burning within yourself, you don't have to ask me, ask anyone.
हम सब श्री माता जी की आरती करेंगे. नाउ वी विल ऑफर आरती टू श्री माता जी.
सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जग में संकट कारण कितने लिए अवतार, माँ कितने लिए अवतार, विश्व में तेरी महिमा, विश्व में तेरी महिमा, तू गंगा यमुना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जो भी शरण में आया सुख ही मिला उसको, माँ सुख ही मिला उसको। बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, लौट के ना जाना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। मानव में अवतर के कर दिया उजियारा, माँ कर दिया उजियारा। कलियुग में माया है, कलियुग में माया है, फिर भी पहचाना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। संत जनों की धरती है भारत माता, माँ है भारत माता। इस धरती पर आकर, इस धरती पर आकर, दुख से दूर करना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जब दिल में आए तब मधुर संगीत सुन लो, मधुर संगीत सुन लो, सके जो सेवा, हो सके जो सेवा हमसे करा देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी, श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी, श्री निर्मला देव्यै
श्री माता जी, आज के इस सुंदर ध्यान के लिए हम सब आपके श्री चरणों में कोटि कोटि प्रणाम करते हैं। श्री माता जी, we humbly bow down at your lotus feet for today's beautiful meditation. जय श्री माता जी।